I grew up in the PS3 era, and during that time we had so many games compared to now. I would play different types of genres, obviously from games such as Need for Speed, Burnout, Driver San Francisco, Split Second, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, and the Infamous series. But there was one game that was different from the rest. Today, 15 years ago, Test Drive Unlimited 2 was released, and this was one of my favorite games growing up, and I'm going to be talking about my favorite features of what made this game so fun compared to any of the other games at that time. Test Drive Unlimited 2, or TDU2 for short, was not only a racing game but also a lifestyle type of game. Not only could you drive your car around either Ibiza or Hawaii, but you could also buy houses, go buy clothes, go get a haircut, even get plastic surgery. In this video, I'm going to talk about my favorite features of this game. So the first thing, the main reason of why this is my favorite game, is the houses and properties. In the houses, there was a walk-in closet, equipped your different types of clothes you had that you bought at the clothes shop, and you could equip different shirts, different pants, as well as shoes. You could change the couches if you wanted. You could change the floor. There were just little things you could change if you wanted to. You could change the table, the coffee table. I mean, there are just so many different things that you could change if you wanted to. But the main point of the houses was the garage. The garage was one of my favorite features of the house, and you could go in your garage and just look at all the cars that you have collected. Now, this is a modded version of Test Drive. It is TDU World, which is a mod which adds new cars from the base game and brings the online servers back. As we look through the cars, that was where my car just changed colors. One of the things you could do in the house is you could go to your list and of all the other houses, and you could choose where you want your car to be located. So if I wanted to change the Ferrari location, I could put it over here in a different house. And you could also, within the garage, you could open the doors, you could get in the car, you could start it if you wanted it to, you could honk the horn, could roll down the windows, close the door, whatever you wanted to do. And when you were ready, you could just hit the drive button and you could take it for a spin. The car dealerships was another main focus of this game. You could walk into any car dealership and you could go, and just like the garage, you can interact with the car. You could open the door, you could get in it, you could start it, you could honk the horn, just pretty much anything you wanted to do. You could interact with the car just like you can in the garage. And you could also, if you wanted to see how it drove, what it sounded like, you could also test drive if you wanted to. Hence the name of the game. You could just walk around the dealership, look at all the cars. You could just walk around the dealership, like I said, look at all the cars and just admire the view. And there were different dealerships located around the two maps between Ibiza and Hawaii, and each dealership had different types of cars related. So Asian cars, Italian cars, European cars. Another main focus, like I said earlier, was the clothes shop. You could walk into a clothes shop and just look around again, and you could also try out the different clothes. If you wanted to look at a shirt, you could see if it fits you or not. As you see a tank top here, you could just go through looking all the clothes. You could pants, shoes, everything else. And when you were ready, you could check it. You could check out and walk out of the store with your new clothes. And you could also equip these clothes in the garage. That's why there's a walk-in closet. You could also go and even get haircuts like I mentioned earlier, and you could also walk around if you wanted. Like I said, you can walk around freely if you know, and you could go in and you could get a haircut. You could get a facial hair, you know, you could eyebrows and hair, regular hair. And the guy with interact be like, oh, this haircut looks good, or I see you need a haircut, or that kind of stuff. There weren't a lot of options for a haircut, but the fact that you could just go in and get a haircut physically is a great feature. You could even go into a plastic surgery clinic if you wanted, and you could get plastic surgery. Like I said at the beginning, kind of fun. This is kind of have you ever seen a game where you could go and get plastic surgery? I've never. You could change your color, the skin color if you wanted, your age, your head shape, you know, like your eyes, eyebrows, whatever. So there were different types of shops, and it was just fun to go and be able to interact with those shops. One thing I also forgot to mention was when you went to buy a property, you would go into the real estate and you could sit down and you could see what they had to offer. You could buy, exchange, or sell. And you could just go through the houses. So in this area, there are 20 houses you can go and look at. And see right here, you can even buy a yacht. Obviously, I have nowhere near the money, but you can buy a yacht if you wanted to. And the last place you could go and look around and physically be there is the airport. Whenever you wanted to switch islands, you could directly go there, or if you wanted to have a little bit more go inside, you could just go up here. You could buy a ticket and you could go back to Ibiza or Hawaii. Now, another main thing of this game was the online multiplayer. This was a social game, and one of the things was the casino. And normally when the servers were really active, there were people just walking around. There were different types of games you could do. You could do poker, roulette, slot machines if you wanted to. And this was kind of the big focus of the game. And you could also interact with other players. You could also, you could see them buying a car at the dealership. You could see them you could invite them to your house if you wanted to. There were so many, when it came to the social aspect of this game, there were a lot of options. So like I said, in the slot machines, you could spend your money, you could play, and you could do this as many times as you want. And then let's say you earn a lot of money from that, you can go back here and you could put your money, you could earn that currency that you earn from the slot machines or anything else, and you can convert it back. There were also little events that you could do on the side to earn a little bit of money. For example, you could have a person need help with taking their car to a certain place because they don't have time, and so you would take their car and deliver it to a place for them. You could earn some money. You could also do different types of if someone's late for a meeting, you could take them there, and they're just different small events like that, and you could earn a lot of money sometimes. The last thing I want to talk is about the atmosphere. My favorite part, like I said, there's so many good things about this game, but sometimes I would literally just drive for hours and hours, just going as fast as I can on the freeway, highway, and just near misses. And another thing that I really enjoyed was the sound. So I'm going to give you this as an example. So I'm going to just have you listen to when the window is up and roll down and hear the difference and and you can hear how kind of realistic it sounds. Take a listen. Kind of hard to hear the sound, but if you listen closely, you can hear the difference between when the window is rolled down and when it's rolled up. The attention to detail about the sound, even the sound, is something that I will always respect. And you could also, there were two different types of radio stations. There were Hariba Radio and Road Rock. And the music selection was pretty good. I enjoyed most of the songs. There were even little commercials in between, and they were fun commercials, like their own commercials that they made for the game. And some of them were really outrageous, but that's, you know, attention to detail again, and that just made this game so much fun. And does anyone remember that the song that was so bad it was good, Daddy Was a DJ? Hey, if you remember that song, it's a classic. Definitely a song I will never forget. Test Drive Unlimited 2 will always be a game I will gladly come back to, and I even play it every once in a while for a couple hours. I always will come back to this game and remember the fun I had and the nostalgic factor this game had on my life. I can't believe that this game is 15 years old, and time surely does go by fast. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Peace.